It was a rainy Thanksgiving, and our small family had gathered at my mom's house for a cozy dinner. The group consisted of my mom, 2 sisters, our grandparents, and me. Despite the downpour, we were all in high spirits, contributing to the cooking preparations. Our grandparents, who lived just 20 minutes away, were set to join us. The atmosphere was warm, and the rain added an oddly comforting touch to the evening. By 5, our grandparents had arrived, and we welcomed them, mindful of the slippery front stoop. With the football game on in the living room, I sat with my grandpa, a devoted Cowboys fan, while my sisters assisted my mom in the kitchen. The rainstorm continued, casting a soothing backdrop to our intimate Thanksgiving. As the clock struck 6, we gathered around the table, laden with a feast for our small party. Turkey, leg of lamb, potatoes, stuffing, corn, cranberry sauce, cornbread. The spread was extensive. We enjoyed the meal, sipping wine and engaging in lively conversation. Later, we migrated to the living room to continue our festivities and catch the remainder of the football game. However, a sudden interruption occurred as the doorbell rang. It was unexpected, considering the relentless rain. A sense of unease settled in when my mom speculated, "What if that's your father?" Despite the strained relationship between our parents, the idea of an unexpected visit lingered. Tasked with checking, I approached the door, only to be met with the sound of rain drowning out a male voice on the other side. Opening the door cautiously, I found a man, drenched in a large rain jacket with the hood up. He approached and requested food, expressing his hunger and invoking karma. Feeling a mixture of compassion and wariness, I informed my family. The consensus was divided. My mom suggested closing the door, while my grandma advocated for offering him food. Opting for a compromise, I created a plate of leftovers on paper plates to account for the rain. Returning to the front door, I showed the plate to the man. As he attempted to open the locked storm door, caution gripped me. Despite my reservations, I unlocked the door, and in a moment of recklessness, he forcefully pushed through, trying to enter. Reacting swiftly, I threw the food and yelled for my sister's assistance. We managed to slam the door shut, but the ordeal didn't end there. 2 more men rushed toward the front door, intensifying the threat. With urgency, I secured the backyard door, sensing the responsibility to protect my family. In a state of hysteria, we decided to call the police. As my mom made the call, I darted from window to window, attempting to surveil the situation outside. Through the pouring rain, I spotted men running toward the back door, their intentions unclear. When the police arrived, the scattered food on the front stoop served as a chilling reminder of the potential danger. Our Thanksgiving, on the verge of turning into a nightmare, was narrowly averted by our quick reactions. Despite the good intentions stemming from my grandma's desire to help, the incident underscored the harsh reality of the world. The unsettling encounter prompted us to install a doorbell camera shortly afterward. Thanksgiving night unfolded at my parents' house, a joyous occasion with relatives I hadn't seen in nearly a year. Amid the festive atmosphere, a disturbing text arrived on my phone, a lengthy message from an unknown number. It began innocently enough, seemingly wishing me well, but I soon realized the sender was none other than Kevin, a stranger I'd encountered on a dating app. Our virtual interactions had taken a dark turn when I rejected his advances, and he spiraled into obsession and aggression. Despite blocking him on every platform, his unwarranted contact persisted. Random Instagram accounts, 0-follower Snapchats, each attempt more unsettling than the last. On Thanksgiving night, he crossed a line, sending a vile essay that gaslit and threatened me. I decided to confront him, warning of police involvement if he persisted. Trying to salvage the evening with family, I tucked my phone away. However, the reprieve was short-lived. Another disturbing message arrived when the night quieted, berating and insulting me. Disturbed, I shared the texts with the remaining family members, garnering their shock and support. Leaving my parents' house, I returned to my apartment, the lower floor of a 2-family house that I shared with my roommate, Chelsea. Alone in my room, attempting to unwind with Christmas movies, my phone rang with an unknown caller. Instinctively, I declined it, anticipating Kevin's intrusion. As I settled into a Christmas rom-com, Surviving Christmas, I heard footsteps within the apartment, approaching my room. The doorknob rattled, someone attempting entry. Despite trusting Chelsea, I always locked my bedroom door at night. Alarmed, I yelled her name, causing the intruder to cease. Investigating, I discovered a threatening text from yet another random number. Panicking, I tried to reach Chelsea, but she didn't answer. Desperate, I called my dad, who rushed to my aid. As my dad approached, I let him in, assuring him this wasn't a product of imagination. We searched for signs of the intruder, leading to the realization that the sliding window by the kitchen was unsecured, an oversight on my part. Disappointed, my dad scolded me for neglecting to lock it. That night, I slept at home, and the next morning, my dad accompanied me to the county court's office where we sought a restraining order. Skipping much of the legal process, I eventually faced Kevin in court, where the judge extended the restraining order. Though unable to prove his break-in, his menacing texts were enough. Any future contact could result in his arrest. Kevin, a truly dangerous individual, left me hoping he hadn't found another victim to harass.
Most of my family resides in a rural part of Central Florida, closer to the East Coast. One Thanksgiving, my Uncle Ben decided to host the gathering at his rustic yet private house by a huge lake. The setting promised a laid-back holiday celebration, with Uncle Ben being a bit of a redneck, known for turning family gatherings into lively parties with music, cornhole, coolers full of beers, and more. Arriving at his house around 3 in the afternoon, we indulged in some beers, snacks like chips and dip, and various drinking games, creating an unconventional Thanksgiving atmosphere. As darkness set in around 5:30, Aunt Mel and Uncle Ben set up the food under a large gazebo, illuminated by its lights. It was all fun and games until the atmosphere took a dark turn. My cousin suddenly pointed to the woods behind me, saying, "Dad, who's that?" Uncle Ben, somewhat intoxicated by this point, turned around to confront a mysterious figure standing at the edge of the woods. The stranger ran into the woods as Uncle Ben approached, dismissing it as one of the local nuts. A laugh erupted, momentarily easing the tension. However, the eerie feeling returned when the stranger reappeared closer to the lake. This time, my uncle's frustration escalated, and he marched over, yelling and taunting the intruder. It was then that we noticed a second person on the opposite side of the yard. As Uncle Ben confronted one, the other stayed put. Concerned, my cousin, Dad, and I prepared to assist Uncle Ben in dealing with the situation. As the second person vanished into the woods, we decided it was time to clean up. Moving everything inside, we sat in the living room, leaving the lights outside on high alert. We couldn't shake off the unease caused by these mysterious trespassers who didn't look like kids, and the question lingered, why would anyone do this on Thanksgiving? Later, I ventured outside to grab another beer from the cooler. The uneasiness grew, especially when I noticed the gazebo light was off. I hurriedly collected the beers, feeling a sudden discomfort. Walking back, I heard a chair sliding under the gazebo and saw a tall figure, around 6 feet 5 inches, walking around the table. Panic set in as I sprinted back to the house, informing Uncle Ben and my dad. Their genuine fear resonated with me. We locked the door, and Aunt Mel closed every curtain, feeling watched from the outside. For the first time, Uncle Ben called the police. As we waited with tension in the air, a loud bang on the glass and a shattered window in the kitchen intensified our fear. Aunt Mel urged Uncle Ben to fetch the old rifle, but it turned out to have been unloaded for years. The police arrived swiftly after the brick-throwing incident, discovering a note attached, threatening us to leave now. The unsettling discovery that Uncle Ben's Trump flag was missing raised the possibility of a political motive. The next day, we grappled with the unsettling reality that our house had become a target, questioning the motives of these sick individuals.